I welcome you all to my new course of OSHA, which is basically Occupational Health and Safety Administration. This will be basically a managerial level training. I will provide you each and everything. This is basically a standard level of course, but I am providing it for free. Remember that this is a managerial level training, and if you provide your attention and keep watching all my videos, then you will become able to work as a safety officer or line manager in any organization around the world. So this is really an important course. We will try to cover each and everything which can be included and studied in OSHA. I will even not left a single topic. So today we will basically cover that what we will study in this course, topics and chapter we will be studying in the upcoming lecture. So you will become able to know the rough idea of what we are going to get in this course. It's really a promise to you that this will cover each and everything related to occupational safety and health administration. Try to keep your attention so that you will become able to learn a really important skill. So in our first chapter, if we discuss our course outlines, so in our first chapter we are going to have an introduction of our safety management. That basically what is safety management, why we use it, what is its purpose. We will have a brief introduction of the safety management system. After it, we will then look for the reasons of maintaining good standards of health and safety. What's the reason, that's what the reason of maintaining good standard of health and safety, why we do it, what's the reason, why it's important and its cruciality. Then we will study the key terms of health and safety. There are some terms which everyone needs to know about them, so it will be beneficial in order to study some more advanced concepts of health and safety. After that, I will tell you the responsibility of a safety officer. That what's the responsibility of being as a safety officer when you work in an organization. There are some specific roles of yours, so you will have to know about them, that what I will do, what specific tasks I will get in my organizations. So we will study this as well. After that, we will get to know about basic idea of what is OSHA, what do we mean by OSHA, why we use it, what its role, and from where it's generated, its history and its overview. We will get to know that if a person having the OSHA certification, then what he can do with it. So we'll cover all these things in this chapter. After it, we will get to know about the idea of record keeping and reporting. In any organization, you have the task of keeping different records and reporting it to your seniors and different levels of officers. So this is really a broad topic and we will cover it. You will have to keep attention to this topic as much as you can. There are reporting and recording of different events in an organization when you work around a site or else anything in the organization. After this, we will get to know about PPEs, which is basically personal protective equipment. Some personal protective equipment, when we have to use them, personal protective equipment like, for example, caps and shoes and full wears. We'll study these kind of things. So without PPEs, a site officer can't work. Even none of the worker can work without PPEs. Although this is the last resort that we can use in our safety, but it's really important and have its play in real time. Then we will get to know what are the limitations of PPEs. We will use PPEs, but there are some limitations. There are some cases where we can't use PPEs and where we should rely on other safety measures, which we will discuss in this course. Then we will let you know what is fire and how to protect from fire. What is fire protection? This is a really crucial and critical topic because there are cases in organization where there may be fire occurring situations. So in that case, it's really important to know about fire and its different types. We study its type because of the reason that then in order to vanish those fire, we use different types of extinguishers. So what is extinguishers? Extinguishers are used in order to vanish different kind of fire. We will study different kind of extinguishers. There are more than 5 types of extinguishers, and in almost every organization you will see them located in a specific place. Then after extinguishers, we will get to know about emergency procedures. What are some of the emergency procedures you may face in your organization when you are working as a safety officer or a line manager? In that situation, there are some emergency procedures and you need to be aware of them, and do accordingly according to the situation. So emergency procedures is really an important topic. We will cover it. After it, we will get to know about material handling and storing. In every organization there are workers who do manual handling of different stuffs and different materials. In that case, you will get to know the advanced idea and the full idea about how to handle different materials and how to store them, how to carry them. There are specific rules for undergoing this process. After it, we will get to know about different hazards associated with material handling and storing. So we will cover in detail in this chapter the hazards associated with material handling and storing. Then we will study in depth the manual handling process, that how to do it, what are some of the precautions, what are some of the hazards associated with manual handling. Then in the next chapter we will get to know about safe lifting, that what is basically safe lifting. For every piece of material there are basically a specific rules for lifting those things. For example, there may be a situation where heavy machinery could be used for lifting of different materials. You will study them as well. We will get an idea in depth about cranes and forklift, that what is crane and what is forklift, why we use them, what is its purpose, hazards associated with forklift and cranes, and what are some of the precautions for a safety officer in order to follow them, and what step he or she should use in order to protect the worker and himself or herself from the hazards associated with cranes or forklift, and how to operate different forklift and cranes. Although a safety officer do not operate crane or forklift, but he gives some permits and procedures to the worker or the driver. After that, we will use hand power tool and its safety. What are basically some of the hand power tools a worker can use? There are many hand power tools, but there must be some safety rules to follow in order to use them in a safe way. So there are basically some basic rules in order to use those hand power tools. We will also study the hazards associated with hand tools. There are different injuries, many thousands injuries from the hand tools in every year, and there are some protection rules from it. We will study those as well in the detail in this chapter. Then we will get to know about what is welding and cutting. We will have in-depth idea in this chapter about what is welding and what is cutting, why we use them, who do welding and cutting. There are some procedures, some precautions, and some stages in which a worker pass through and do welding and cutting. So it's not like that a worker will do it by its own, but he or she will follow some specific rules. We will also cover what are some of the types of welding. There are different types of welding in any organization or industry, and hazards which are associated with welding as well, and how to cover or how to avoid those hazards. For this, we will follow some safety precautions and we will follow some rules as well. Then we will get to know about what is electrical safety. In different organizations, there are maximum numbers of working occurring about electrical things. So for this, we really need an advanced level of safety from electricity. What are some of the rules and how to follow them? What are some of the procedures? We will study those as well. You will get what are some of the electrical terms. For by studying this topic, you will get to know the basics of electrical stuffs. You will get to know about electricity. You will be able to know that what are some of the electrical terms and why we use this terms and that terms. We will study voltages, currents, and some different devices in this chapter. After it, we will study some of the main or basic hazards of electricity, and we will cover it in detail, that what hazards could be in working with electricity. So if a worker work in electricity, he or she should know about the hazards of electricity and what are some of the electrical devices and which may protect you from those hazards. So there are certain PPEs and certain other devices apart from PPEs, which can be used in order to protect you from electricity. After it, we will cover a really important topic about safety, which is fall protection. Almost in every organization, there is a work where people work on in height, and where it's really important to protect a worker from falling down. So here comes the topic, which is fall protection. How to protect the worker from falling. There are certain procedures because a worker can work on different ladders and different other situations. So for this, it's really important to protect a person or a worker from falling down. There are huge number of hazards associated with working on heights. So in that case, we need to identify all the hazards, and then we will follow really an 8-step approach to fall protection. There is really an in-depth detail about each step, and a worker should follow and a safety officer should follow all these 8 steps in order to make sure that a worker should not fall from the height. You will get to know about the whole idea about the fall protection system, that what is fall protection systems, how it works, how it's save people from falling down. There are also some personal fall arrest systems. You will get to know about different devices that a person or a worker should use when work on a height. So there are different devices like slings and these kind of things. We will study them in detail. It's not possible to tell you all of them right now because it's a full chapter. We will then study what are guardrail systems, why you use them. Guardrail systems are basically used in order to protect worker from falling down. So this is really an advanced level of topic. We will then get to know about safety net systems. It's also used in order to protect a person from falling down. Then what are warning line systems? Why we use them? It's really important in order to get to know this idea, because a worker or a safety officer or a line manager must work on the site, and he or she should know about warning line systems. Even the visitors or the pedestrians should know about the warning line systems. Then we will study cranes. What are some major causes of crane accidents? There are huge number of accidents associated with cranes. We will use a specific criteria, precautions and procedures in order to avoid those accidents related with cranes. Then what are some of the types of cranes? We will cover different types of cranes and hazards associated with crane. What is hazard? We will have a full chapter on hazard separately. Then we will get to know the idea about rigging slings. What are slings? Why use them? We'll cover this. What is excavation? Why we do excavation? What are some of the steps involved in doing excavation? You will have to thoroughly assess the site and then do excavation. And there are also huge number of hazards associated with excavation. So there are proper system included in doing excavation on site. There is a full separate chapter on this topic as well. Then we will have a site evaluation planning. We will specifically do first an evaluation, and evaluation will not be done only by the safety officer. There are some other manager level of persons involved in doing site evaluation. Then we will get to know about stairways and ladders and hazards associated with it. Ladder hazards are really common, and we will get to know about them. What are some of the key components of ladder safety? We will follow some specific rules and steps how to protect yourself from ladder falling. So in that case, it's really important. Lastly, we will basically cover that what is confined space, what is confined space entry. If a person work in confined space, what procedures and precautions we should follow, and what steps we should make sure before working in a confined space. We'll cover more than 5 types of examples of confined spaces. What are some of the examples of confined spaces? For example, if a person work away from the site, or if he works alone, then this is an example of confined space. But there are many more examples of confined spaces, and there are some hazards associated with confined spaces. We will cover all of them. Then we will decide that the work is of permit required confined space entry or non-permit confined space entry. So there are basically 2 types of confined space entries. One is permit one and the next one is non-permit one. permit has been basically issued by safety officers, how he issue it. We'll cover this also, how to issue it, what is basically permit. We will discuss this as well. So then lastly we will see that what is lead safety and its precautions, and material safety data sheet. This is also an advanced topic. Explosive safety and classes of explosives and hazards associated with it. And then we will follow safety precautions of working, uh, and then we will follow safety precautions for lead working and explosive workings as well. So this was about all of the course. I have given a basic outline, although there are many topics that I have missed in the outline that I will cover in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned, and if you want to learn some advanced level of concepts about OSHA, so your thoughts has end at that time, and let's jump to the next video and we will cover all the things starting from the next video, and we will have a detailed look about OSHA. So I hope you like it. Thanks for now. Take care and bye.